the first part of learning Blender. Maybe you even made a duck out of squished cubes. This is where we come to the second hurdle. I call it discovering edit mode. Discovering edit mode is really quite easy. Here, follow my mouse. And that was anticlimactic. So the whole mouse thing I did, you can also do it by pressing tab. A lot faster. So I'm going to click down here and move to new layer. I'm going to add a cube. So just like so we have all these little points here, and just like with objects, we can select them by right-clicking and select multiple by holding shift while right-clicking. And just like before, we can rotate them on specific axes even. We can scale them also on specific axes. We can grab them also on specific axes if we wish to. One important thing we can do is called extruding. And that's what happens when we press E for extrude. You also have extrude region here, like this, these here, which is E and E. And just like before, we have this tool panel, and we have all these fancy things here. We can hover over them and figure out what the shortcut keys are. We hit Ctrl R, which does a loop cut and slide, which is really cool because we can add more mesh to play with. We can scale these stuff, and then we can rotate it inwards maybe. Maybe we can even like grab that, like clear down here or something. That looks strange. We can also switch what we're selecting by holding Control and then pressing Tab. We can switch to edges or faces. That will allow us to select different things. Or if we switch to edges, it basically selects two vertices at once, and it's just faster depending on what you're doing. The options are also down here. And so say you wanted to extrude a bunch of faces, you can just do this and make something that looks really strange. Now to delete stuff, it's the same as before. I'm going to just switch to vertices again. Press X. We're going to see we have this delete menu here. We press faces, then it will delete only the faces we have selected. So say we had like these faces here selected like this. I pressed X, we could delete those two faces there and the edges that connect the two. Say we wanted to select these two here. We press X and delete only edges. And that will delete the edges, but since faces rely on edges, those also get removed. And finally, we can also remove vertices, which will remove everything, basically. This is a good time to bring up another thing we can do, which is press F, which stands for fill. It'll either put a face there or a edge there, depending on what it thinks it can do. So if we do this, select these here, and press F, we can get another face, and we can get another face by selecting these guys there, and we can basically fix our holes in our mesh. We can also merge vertices by holding Alt and then pressing M. And we can decide we want it first, or we can decide we want to merge them at the center. We can cut faces in half basically with a knife tool, which I think is K. Yeah. You hit the dot, and then we get the next dot, and it will cut the face in half when we press enter. We can also cut edges in half, like before, like this. On the edges, we don't have to do it on the vertices either. That gives us more mesh to play with. Yay! And mess up, and now we have to make another one. Kinda. There we go. We can also subdivide things. So if we say we selected this here, we can subdivide that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Ctrl E. There we go. Press Ctrl E, edge menu, which is very useful for when you're doing things. Bevel. What does bevel do? I don't know about what. And then that bevel thing, which is like what? Ctrl E, and then we hit bevel. Oh man, that's crazy. So I spent like all this work on this duck, right? And I spent like all this work on this duck over here. And so you're just like, these are all simple objects, but you want them to be one object, like before. What you can do is just box select everything. Oh yes, Control J. And that'll basically join them all together, and let's undo that. and we'll join them all together using the main object as the joining point. If we hit tab, we now have all as one object. They're kind of still separated, and if we can undo that kind of by selecting everything, and then we can also part objects. Select P, then by loose parts, and they're now all separate objects again. And see how they all have the same origin point? What we can do to fix that is selecting everything except for the camera and that thing. Just unselect those things. Silly me. Then we could do set origin and set origin to geometry, and that will move all the origins back to where they should be.